A Las Vegas family struggling with the consequences of a tragic incident last year at a popular water park.
Yeah, a youngster named Leland Gardner was rescued from a wave pool but suffered some pretty catastrophic brain damage. Now his parents are asking tough questions about whether executives at Cowabunga Bay cut corners and put public safety at risk.
George Knapp of the I-Team is here with the story. George?
By all accounts, Leland was a 6-year-old bundle of energy who couldn't wait to visit Cowabunga Bay, but something went terribly wrong on that day, May 27th, 2015. A year later, Leland is much different than the boy who went into the water. Attorneys for the Gardner family say they've uncovered some surprising information about how the park operated. It's summertime at Cowabunga Bay, a massive and popular water park filled with slides and rides and a sprawling 33,000 square foot wave pool, where bathers and floaters get jostled, splashed, and dunked by waves as high as 4 feet. 6-year-old Leland Gardner was thrilled to visit the park with a classmate and the other boy's father back in May of last year. But minutes after this photo was snapped, Leland's life changed forever.
They were all together in the shallow end of the wave pool, and when the waves started to go, Leland was knocked off his tube ultimately, and we believe he went under, and he was under for minutes.
By the time Leland's near-lifeless body was pulled from the water by a lifeguard, he had traveled almost 100 yards and was in the deep end of the pool. He had no pulse, but CPR brought him back, and the incident was even characterized as a successful rescue. This is Leland a year later, now 7 years old. He's unable to do much of anything.
Leland suffered a catastrophic brain injury. He has minimal motor skills. He cannot talk. He cannot eat. He's fed through what's called a GI tube.
Ready?
He's bathed. He wears diapers. He is completely cared for 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
For the Gardner family, everything has changed. Leland's parents were both law enforcement professionals, but his mom had to quit her job to care for the boy full-time.
Financially, it's been extremely tough on the family. Physically, my daughter, she has to lift him all the time. Since he can't walk and he can't sit up by himself and talk, you have to move him so that he doesn't get bed sores, rotate him at least every 2 hours. So there's lifting him in and out of beds, in and out of chairs, in and out of cars, up and down the stairs, and then with the rotations.
Well, emotionally, it's pretty tough.
Oh, on everybody.
The family remains optimistic that Leland will regain at least some functions as time goes by. But they're also angry after learning what did and did not happen at Cowabunga Bay.
And they've talked about safety being their #1 priority and that the response to this incident was exemplary. Unfortunately, what they've not told everyone is that they were chronically understaffed in terms of lifeguards. And on the day of this incident, when this happened, there was only 3 lifeguards for a 33,000 square foot wave pool, when the state law required 17.
When Cowabunga Bay first applied to the health district for a permit to open, the company proposed staffing the wave pool with about 6 lifeguards per shift. The district said no way. The wave pool, which could hold up to 2,600 people at a time, is too large for 6 lifeguards. So the district insisted there should be 17 at all times, and the company agreed. In order to get the license to open, the general manager formally submitted this grid, the red dots showing where the 17 lifeguards would be stationed.
Unfortunately, what Cowabunga Bay did is upon opening, it immediately went back to operating with the 5 to 7 lifeguards it initially wanted.
How do you know that?
We know that by reviewing their staffing numbers, the amount of lifeguards that were there.
Internal records show on the day Leland was underwater, the park had 5 lifeguard slots slated for the wave pool, but only 3 were actually filled.
You have to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Does that help you out?
I do.
In a sworn deposition, the park's general manager, Shane Hewish, was asked about what the law required and what he actually provided.
The required number of lifeguards for the wave pool was 17, correct?
That's correct.
By law, correct?
Correct.
All right. And, but you did not operate with 17, correct?
That's correct.
Cowabunga Bay declined to appear on camera because of pending litigation, but told us in a written statement that all of its employees were shaken by what happened to Leland. They send him their best wishes, but they say their safety procedures worked that day. 2 months ago, Cowabunga Bay returned to the health district and asked for a variance, permission to use the same lifeguard plan it preferred from the beginning. The health district granted it, and no one mentioned Leland Gardner at all. The company told us the district's previous lifeguard standard was, quote, behind the times, and that having fewer lifeguards actually increases public safety. We plan to explore that part of the story more in our next report.
It's just heart-wrenching to see how he looks today.
It's a long, tough slide the family has.
Yeah, for the whole family,
You're
yeah.
right. Yeah. All right. Thanks, George.